Sessions.
We've got 1:08 left in the first quarter. Inside. Here's Nene. And that misses. That would have put him up. San Antonio leading. And Aldridge slams it in.
Boy, the pass there floated up to the precise spot where it needed to be.
And no messing around in the finish, huh? He powers it through.
Sure didn't waste any time there.
And, guys, that's an alley-oop I guarantee you we'll be seeing on the highlight reels for the next few days.
For three.
Not too much respect shown to him by the defenders.
There's 38 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. And here is Parker. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. On the clock. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer, signaling the shot clock violation.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
Washington's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. Now here's Sessions. There's the pick. To the inside. Neal dishes to Nene. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam.
Superb assist there. He played the role of the maestro on that one.
And still a close game as the first quarter.
Here we go, San Antonio. Please.
So far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And let's quickly break down the game we've seen from the Wizards, guys.
Really, it's always a positive when you can get some impact off your bench.
Always nice to have firepower coming from the reserves, and they've had firepower and then some so far.
Timeout Spurs.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
Here we go.
Defeated by the Wizards in their last game, they'll try to put that one behind them.
Yeah, nowhere near at their best throughout the course of that game. A scrappy performance, but in the end, just not enough.
Yeah, a lot of character on display, a lot of guts. You're right, even as shaky as they were, I would guess they felt they let one get away from them.
San Antonio trailing here.
You know, you take a look at this group of Spurs and you wonder if they've peaked. I mean, it seems you say that a lot with this team and they prove you wrong. But Popovich said last year he feels it might actually be the case.
Mills and Manu at the guards. Anderson is out there with Boris Diaw. And it's West in the pivot spot, manning the middle. So that's who San Antonio starts the second with. And the dunk by Humphries.
And that's how the coach would draw it up on the fast break from start to finish.
Yeah, and what a finish it was, guys. Really nicely done.
Now here's Mills. Here's Anderson. West kicks to Diaw. Goes back up. That's good. Diaw's got his first points of the night.
I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spot. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
So timeout called here, the first for Washington. You know, one thing about this San Antonio team, they just didn't go away last year. Pop himself said he felt they peaked in the 2014 finals.
You know, and you wonder if what Pop said is true. Spurs lost in the first round last year, and they'll be going through a lot of changes in the near future. And with the way they run that organization, they'll still be competing, I believe, for quite some time.
Just over 1 minute has passed here in the second quarter. The Wizards with the lead. Picked by Humphries. And Wall. Here we go now. Humphries with the bucket. Humphries has got 4 points in the quarter.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Great ball movement.
And Mills kicks to Diallo. It's stolen by Wall. And even 3-on-3 break. Stolen by Anderson. Here's Ginobili. Oh, that's blocked. Beal, the pass to Wall. Stolen by Anderson. Tipped away. Humphries with the steal. And he goes in for the dunk.
Punches it down with pop.
And rubs it in. It looks like a little deeper with the hanging finish.
I tell you what, they're not backing off at all, are they? Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. But, boy, that was a nice job.
Well, looking at the Wizards, they weren't as lauded as other teams last season, but the Wizards were a ferocious group on defense. Numbers support that. Their activity, Greg, could really bother teams.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, oftentimes people look at them and think offense, but it really was, to your point, Kevin, the defense was the strength of that group. I mean, they do get out in transition, but it was the defense, I thought, that really allowed them to become elite.
Here's Wall. Boris Diaw picking up that last basket. Wall dishes to Humphries. Can't hit from in close.
Well, one of his issues is he's a player that just does not excel at fighting through contact on his way to the rim.
What a play there. The hoop plus the harm.
Yeah, great concentration there, Greg. Hung in there. He didn't let that contact throw him off at all. Stayed focused on the rim, knew he was going to get hit, and still was able to finish.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for West. Aldridge comes in for Boris Diaw. Green, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili. And Parker's subbed in for Patty Mills. Here's Neal. Uses the glass to drop it in.
That's a clean look they gave him there, fellas, and he drains those.
Parker kicks to Duncan. Taken away by Nene. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it.
Well, we've got a moment to look back to last year's Spurs right now. 3rd in field goal percentage, 4th in free throw percentage. And they also showed up in the top 5 in assists. This team is really unselfish. They do a nice job moving themselves, moving the ball, and converting good shot opportunities.
And as you said, there weren't many teams that scored with the efficiency that they did last season. They did a great job of being selective and working for the best possible shot.
Aldridge, good.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Yeah, and that's 4 straight field goals now, Greg, they've allowed from point-blank range. Can't happen.
Now here's Oubre. He kicks it to Nene. And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
And that's how it's done. I mean, find that hole in the D and then go hard to the rack.
Maybe that hole was a little bigger than it should have been.
Well, it was. I mean, a tight game like this one, you'd think they'd have a little more energy at the defensive end than that.
And when the size advantage is as big as it was there, I mean, that's exactly what he's supposed to do in that situation.
"19 seconds left in the first half of basketball. Anderson passes to Duncan. Pops in the layup for 2. Duncan's got 6.
The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening.
It really is, Clark. The defenders need to do a better job of closing those lanes to the hoop.
And we're through the first half of basketball here, and what's been a good one. It's the Wizards. They lead by a bucket. And we'll be back right after halftime to get the third quarter underway. And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now. Chris Humphries really making a difference here.
Yeah, you just love it when the decision-making is as good as it was there in that first half. Didn't force anything.
Guys, I think here in the second half, though, they may want him to be a little more assertive. Start hunting more for his shot, even the tough one.
Here we go now, the start of the third quarter, welcoming you back in a closely contested first half so far. Chris Humphries really making a difference here.
I tell you what, though, it's going to be important to see if they can slow him down in the second half, because so far they have not had anybody that can disrupt his rhythm down low.
Well, how about guys mixing up the looks? I mean, bump him out a little bit, fronting, doubling, anything to try to get him off his rhythm.
And on the floor for Randy Whitman as we get into the second half. The talented Wall and Beal team up in the backcourt. Chris Humphries is out there with Gortat, and it's Porter in the 3 spot. Now here's Beal. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. Good on the triple. Beal's got the first points of the second half here for Washington.
Really well done there. Just confident and composed, never in a hurry.
Parker's shot is off. For a while, the Spurs were viewed as a slow-it-down team from their championships almost a decade ago. That isn't the case at all anymore, though.
You know, I think it took the viewing public quite a while to catch on, though, Kevin, because now most people look at the Spurs as one of the more exciting brands of basketball in our league. Just watching one game of them, and now you know that is the case.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
You know, for the Spurs playing up-tempo, I mean, they made that adjustment several years back, to their credit. Since then, they've been one of the more up-tempo and offensive-minded teams in the league.
Second half of basketball, just over a minute played so far.
And some stats to kind of back up the Spurs playing that up-tempo style. They led the league last year in distance traveled as a team. Their players would cover almost 18 miles per game play. That tells you there's tremendous ball movement, but more importantly, body movement.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Really the right play defensively. If you can't block, force them to the line.
Yeah, exactly. Prevent the layup, give them a little bump, and then maybe they'll think twice about coming into the lane next time. And if they don't think about it, at least they might be distracted by your presence.
And so he hits both. Spurs trail by 7. Clark, some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
Now here's Parker. Looking for his first basket still in this one. Just 5 to shoot. Here's Green. Once again off the mark by San Antonio.
Been a cold spell for them coming out of the half, missing their first 3 shots. A tough start.
Humphries against Parker. Leonard kicks to Duncan. Out to Parker. And it's Parker.